It's damn shame, damn shame. Cop, a deputy, Cobb County, Georgia, indicted for child pornography, sharing images of children online. And this SOB has been working for the sex crimes unit for 15 damn years. Put up his picture, put up his mugshot. A federal grand jury has indicted a former county sheriff's deputy accused of distributing child pornography while working in the sex offender unit. That's according to the US Attorney's Office. His name is Peter Bilardello, 51 years of age, from Marietta, Georgia. Was arraigned before a federal judge for the charges after an indictment in January. This former deputy now had been employed at the Cobb County Sheriff's Office for more than 15 years and worked for part of that time in the sex offenders unit. This has a chilling and deep background. We're gonna give it to you. According to information presented in court, an investigation began in November of 2019. Keep in mind, he's been under investigation for a while. When the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received a report that a user of the social media platform MeWe had allegedly uploaded and shared around a dozen images depicting children under the age of 12 in sexually explicit situations. After an investigation that lasted over 2 years, the Cobb County Police, they determined that the user of the social media account was Bilardello. US attorney said, and I quote, Bilardello allegedly shared child porn through social media while he was employed as a law enforcement officer. The victimization of children is one of the most heinous crimes imaginable, and distributing images of child sexual abuse compounds the harm. It is especially troubling that these crimes were allegedly committed by someone in a position of public trust. Let me remind people, this is not the first time Indisputable has covered a person of public trust, in public trust, doing something like this, accused of something like this. Hell, we just had it earlier in the show today of a school teacher doing something like this. And what we're finding, now keep in mind, the vast majority of professionals, they would never do anything like this. But what we are finding, individuals who are monsters against our children will seek out opportunities in their profession to be close to them, okay? This guy was on the sex crimes unit, a specialized task force, special training, special access, all right, special investigations. Officials say a search of Bilardello's home, cell phone, and the MeWe account led investigators to confirm the deputy had uploaded and shared the child pornography while talking with other users. The search also led agents to recover more than 100 images and videos depicting young children in sexually explicit situations. This cop was arrested immediately, resigned from his job at the Cobb County Sheriff's Office. Now, let me bring up why that's problematic. You don't get to resign for a damn thing if I'm the sheriff. Now remember, your resignation has to be accepted, okay? I would reject the resignation so that on record, I have fired you. But his resignation allows him to still keep some of his benefits intact, okay? The acting special agent in charge said, and I quote, every time pornographic images are distributed online, that child is continuously re-victimized. The FBI will not tolerate predators who prey on our children, especially ones like this guy, who are sworn law enforcement officers that took an oath to protect the citizens of our community. And listen, we found out also this is still under investigation, all right? So there could be more variables involved here than just what we've been presented with. Francesca, is horrible. What are your thoughts on it?
It's horrible and horribly unsurprising, given the way that police around this country are not held accountable and they are set up for corruption. It is a profession rife with corruption, and whether that corruption is framing a suspect or lying about whether or not the suspect shot at you or was armed, covering up that, or whether it is, confiscating drugs yourself and potentially reselling them or keeping them, whatever it is, keeping money that is confiscated, or keeping child pornography that you are in charge of investigating and redistributing that, right? And so it's par for the course for me. And it also shows, especially with something like child pornography and sex crime, which is deeply delicate and sensitive and traumatizing for the officers that are involved. I actually know somebody who's a detective in this particular field. It's very traumatizing, and it just goes to show that police work and detective work needs to be supported also by people who do regularly deal with child sex trauma, and that can be social workers, it can be psychologists, it can be mental health as experts, so that they are the ones who are handling this, maybe in tandem with police officers, but the police officers who are so unaccountable in every other field and every other part of their profession cannot get away with doing something like this for so long.
That's right. I advocate as a policy for police officers to have a psychological evaluation every 6 months. Most jurisdictions will do it, obviously, that first time before they're hired. And then they only do it based on event. So if there's an event that happens, they then can be mandated to do a psychological eval. Well, here's the reality. Maybe you missed it the first time, okay? Maybe you missed something. And sometimes the cop you hired on day 1 is not the same cop on day 61, all right? So you need to be able to track this as it happens. So that's a policy that could possibly catch some of these things in process.